fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Saturday night after the bell, but tonight is a special night as we will be recapping WWE's Saturday night main event. This was broadcast on Peacock on NBC, which is the first time they've been on NBC in years. My name's John Zindel, joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
This was a new type of show for WWE since we've been watching, but it's not a new type of show for us. No matter what it is we're viewing, John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from the return of WWE Saturday Night's main event?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. No, we don't bury that lead. And I'll tell you what, the lead is we have a title match for the heavyweight championship. We have Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the big belt, the WWE championship. And Cody Rhodes knocks off Kevin Owens and retains in the main event here. Dom, what did you think of this main event match?
Longest match of the night, but only 12 and a half minutes. So this was, if people were expecting this to be like a pay-per-view, like a premium live event, it is not. Saturday night's main event is what Raw and SmackDown were before Raw and SmackDown existed. It was occasional prime time, 2 hours of television. And, you know, it looked a lot like this. You know, if you got 5 matches, they were going to be in maybe the 8 to 12 minute range as tonight's were. You got action, not a lot of slow playing, but an enjoyable show, I thought, and capped off by Cody Rhodes beating Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens brings a chair into the ring at the end, but misses when he goes to use it. Cody Rhodes hits a Cody cutter, then a crossroads onto the chair as special guest play-by-play announcer Jesse the Body Ventura pointed out. And there were 2 ref bumps in this. Long story short, the first referee revives just in time to count the pinfall for Cody Rhodes over Kevin Owens. He retains the belt. No shenanigans after the match. Kevin Owens just retreats to the back. Cody Rhodes showing off the belt. Show goes off the air. I wonder if people were expecting a lot of hijinks, a lot of title changes. I don't think we got any title changes at all. I mean, except for the Women's U.S. Championship, which was vacant because this was the first one. There were no new title holders tonight. So this is, I think, an exciting show. I think this was an exciting end to it. What did you think of them finally doing ref bumps in a Cody Rhodes-Kevin Owens match? Because it mattered. It mattered, right? Kevin Owens had a pinfall on Cody Rhodes for several seconds, but he had knocked out the ref.
Well, when I saw the ref was Lil Nate, you know something's going to happen. Lil Nate, there always seems to be some hook or crook, right, where Lil Nate is involved. He's the guy that's really reliable for that stuff.
Charles Robinson.
Yeah. So Lil Nate takes the bump. I thought at some point RKO might come out, hit the cutter, or hit the, the cutter. I can call it that. Yeah, hit the cutter on Cody Rhodes, and then if you kind of set up hit the cutter on Kevin Owens, and then Cody would get the win. You could set up Kevin versus Randy Orton,
which we never got. They teased it. They had a couple of brawls, but we never got a real full match.
And there'd even be a little bit more to it where you could say Kevin didn't even get a good shot against Cody because he got screwed. But no, the way this finish was it's a resounding loss for Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
There's no real coming back from that. The only thing another thing I thought might happen was a dusty finish with when the finish hits, you know, Cody uses the chair to finish off Kevin.
Mhm.
So I thought there was a possibility for a dusty finish, and that they throw the match out, and that could set up like a rematch between Kevin and Cody. But no, I think this is it for them, right? Cody and Kevin.
This is the rematch. So they've had they already had one match when they were kind of frenemies.
Yeah.
Still friends, but trying to build a little animosity for the match. And then this time they're clear babyface, clear heel. So maybe this is it. Although, Kevin Owens seems to just hang around. He's a really reliable guy as a babyface or a heel.
Yeah.
He's got the tough guy image. He's got the move set. He's believable in the ring. I mean, he looks like a bouncer at a bar. So
I'd say it's an accurate portrayal. Yeah,
right. I mean,
he
he has that look, so he looks like a guy who could mix it up with people. I think he's really reliable. I mean, this doesn't bury KO at all, but at the same time, I think it's a neat win for Cody. Good finish for the first bring back of Saturday night's main event. I thought it was a cool show, and this was a cool way to finish it. It was a little bit of a dusty finish, in the sense that you could have seen someone come. It was all right. It wasn't a dusty finish. It was a bloodline finish.
Oh,
this was every Roman Reigns match. Ref knocked out. The bloodline knocks out the ref. Roman Reigns gets pinned, but there's no ref to count it.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns. The only thing this was missing was someone on Cody Rhodes' side to beat up Kevin Owens for him.
Yeah, totally. I'll tell you what. It was a pretty good match, and it was a fun one. I really liked seeing Kevin as a heel. I think he's great as a heel, and I think he was great. In that one conversation he had with Michael Cole. So he's been great as a heel. Kevin tried the bionic elbow, where he acted like to try to do the bionic elbow, and then said "suck it" afterwards, like when he was doing the whole dance. Like, oh, this is stupid. Of course, he doesn't hit it, but he still pulled it off. And I liked just the way that Owens was leaning into the heel thing. He's sitting up in the corner, like throwing a little hissy fit before the match even starts. Not being very respectful. But yeah, so Kevin Owens is a good heel. And I think you pointed this out before. He's legitimately very funny. So he's a good heel in that regard.
I hope this doesn't mean this is the end of Kevin Owens cutting promos in his rental car. That's the highlight of every SmackDown. Kevin Owens in his rental car.
Those promos in his rental car. Yeah, absolutely. We need those.
We need more of those, or just something that's on par with that. I like a few of the spots here. They were doing the fighting on the turnbuckles again. There was no Corey Graves to yell at us about how no one ever beats Kevin Owens up on the turnbuckles.
Yeah.
Cody tried it twice, and Kevin Owens won both of them.
No, there was nobody to spoil the spot.
Right.
Jesse the Body was like, "Oh, Kevin's got to be careful there."
Yep.
Which is funny because Kevin, there's no reason for Kevin to have to be careful there. Like,
yes,
where he dominates.
SmackDown viewers.
Yeah, long time like Jesse not knowing Kevin's moveset, didn't realize that that's his bread and butter.
Yep. The first time he winds up shoving Cody off the top turnbuckle and then hits his top turn swanton for a 2 count. The next time they're each going for the front face lock. Kevin wins and hits the Fisherman's Buster for a 2.5 count. So good moves there. I like what they did out on the outside, a little bit brawling on the announce table. Cody blocks some move that looked like Owens was going for maybe a pile driver or a power bomb. Cody blocked it, and they said, "Oh, he hit an RKO on the table." It's a cutter. It's a Cody cutter. It's his move. He's been doing it forever. He just couldn't spring off the ropes because there's no ropes around the announce table. But that's his move. But they made a big deal about how it being like Randy Orton's move that he did. Now earlier, Kevin Owens did that side slam onto the announce table that Randy Orton usually does, and Kevin mugged right into the camera. Hi, Randy.
See, that was another thing I really liked, him saying, "Hi, Randy."
Yep. And we got a picture-in-picture during this, and I couldn't. Obviously, they're playing sound for the commercials, but we could see out of the corner of my eye, Kevin Owens had the advantage and was really playing to the crowd. Like, he was doing heel stuff. He was motioning to the crowd. He was really into being a heel in this match. Even though I couldn't hear it, you could almost feel through the screen that he's doing what a heel should do. And the crowd's just giving it to him there in Long Island.
When Kevin came into the WWE, he had a feud with John Cena, and he was a heel. And they had him for a heel for a while, up until he was the Universal Champion. He was a heel. So he worked heel for years until eventually, a little bit like Seth Rollins, where the crowd liked the heel thing, so they turned him face,
Okay.
And he's kind of been around. I don't know if he switched back to heel ever. I guess not since we've watched, right? He's been face the whole time.
Yeah, he's been face the whole time. He showed up at the first year we did this. He showed up as the last man in for the babyface team in War Games that lost to the Bloodline.
Right.
They teased a heel turn on Sami Zayne when Sami tried to befriend him, but he never turned. And yeah, this is recent. This is his first heel turn in the 2+ years that we've been watching. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's a good recap there. You have anything more to say about this match, or is it follow time?
I'll tell you what, Dom. I think it's a good time to go ahead and let's hit the follow here. So we just hit the lead, and now we're moving into the follow. And I could pick where we go first if you want. I think it's rather obvious. This was almost the lead, in my opinion, if it wasn't.
Okay.
We have Michin versus Chelsea Green for the newly created U.S. women's title.
Yeah.
And Chelsea Green goes over and beats Michin. Dom, what did you think of this one here?
Decent match. Surprised. I thought at the end it sounded like Chelsea Green got a babyface pop.
Oh, yeah.
People like her, even though she's annoying. Just looking at this matchup, I figured that Chelsea Green would win just because Chelsea Green, being this annoying, entitled, insufferable champion, would be great for the belt. Just have her with the belt seems like she would be just over the top, even more than she already is.
That's one of those weird New York things, right? Because they're on Long Island, if you will, where if a heel is way over, then they start to cheer the heel. That happens in the Northeast corridor from time to time, and that's I think what happened tonight. I looked it up. She's not even from Long Island, so it's
she's
not
from
like
Canada.
She's from Canada.
Yep.
She is,
but she's annoying, so she's an honorary New Yorker.
Right. She's an honorary New Yorker because she's obnoxious.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, there was some stuff I really liked about this match. Specifically, Chelsea Green with the gear that she came out in, which are just her gear that she was wearing, which is pictures of herself, which was just like brilliant. Like the tassels on her gear were just her.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm Chelsea Green, and then what's your gimmick? Her gimmick is Chelsea Green, you know, all over her body. I really like that a lot. Michin hit a drop kick to Piper. I thought I wanted to call this one out. That looked rough.
Okay.
Piper was up on the apron.
Yes.
Michin hits the kick, and Michin goes down. Or Piper does a great job of just taking a face bump right off the right off the side of the ring, and you knew she was out for a while. It's like, yeah, it looks horrible. Like for her to drop off, especially at her size, to drop off and then hit the thing, it looked really good, I have to say.
That was the one for the finishing move. It allowed Chelsea Green to win the match on her own, which I think was a good call. Piper distracted Michin up on the turnbuckles as she was climbing up there after Chelsea Green, who had been stunned a bit up there. Michin kicked Piper off the apron with that great drop kick move that you called it. Great sell by Piper Niven, and then moved toward Chelsea Green on the top turnbuckle. Little slow developing on the move here, but once they got it, it looked really good. Chelsea grabbed her arms and then kind of did a float over flip on Michin, who was standing on the mat there, and turned it right into an unpretty her for the pinfall. This match goes 8 minutes. It was the shortest match of the night, but pretty cool finish and an unusual cheer from the crowd there for the heel. I think they're just appreciating Chelsea's moveset and the fact that she really is into her character. Like Chelsea Green gives 100% for her gimmick.
Oh, totally. She's been excellent. We've really liked her both. She's fine in the ring. The character's hilarious, and not for nothing, there aren't a lot of funny, good, comedic women wrestlers in the WWE right now, and she's one that's really funny, you know. And
man or woman, I think she's the best comedy wrestler out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty neat that they're giving her a chance to show that she can wrestle too.
Yeah. Even a little bit, another thing to add to the comedy thing, Chelsea Green is a beautiful woman. It is tough to be a beautiful person and funny. And typically in pro wrestling, if you're the funny person, it's because you look a little weird, right? And you do some weird thing, and that's like your comedy gimmick. Doink the clown, you know?
Sure.
He had the pot belly, and you know, he dressed like a clown. And he got over, but he also dressed strange, you know?
Yes.
So
pretty deadly. Metrosexuals 10 to 15 years too late.
Yes. But Chelsea is a beautiful woman and could easily just be a diva, but instead she just leans into the comedy thing, which she's really good at.
And the heel persona.
Totally. Yeah, she gets it. She definitely gets it. All right, so that's Michin and Chelsea Green.
I do want to put on another thing. I thought it was really cool when Michin hit the eat defeat on Chelsea, and Chelsea rolled just close enough to the ropes that on the pinfall she barely got her right toe onto the bottom rope. Like, what perfect positioning.
The announcer said that they kept saying didn't get all of it.
Yeah.
Was that on because they thought it was a botch and then she said I didn't get all of it, or they said didn't get all of it because they knew that she could get to the ring apron?
I don't know, but I thought Chelsea did a great job of bouncing off the move so that she could. It's like when guys take a Stone Cold Stunner and they like flip completely out of the ring.
Yeah.
You know, or Ricky, when Ricky took the stunner from KO and just flopped through the ropes to the floor, right? It has been a Ricky Gibson sighting at our Saturday night's main event recap here. Chelsea takes the eat defeat and flops 3/4 of the way across the ring so that when she's covered, that foot barely gets to the bottom rope. Great sell by her to not make it look obvious. There's a lot of times where people have to get in that position. They forget. And then they just land on their back, and then they're kind of shimmying their way over because they know they have to get closer. Like Chelsea got there.
And we've got a couple people in the chat now. So if you guys have anything you want to say about the show, let us know.
Yes. Wherever you're watching us online on the live stream, whether it's Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, thank you for joining us. Just know the mother lode of our content is over on YouTube. Find Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. There's a new join option with premium perks. Comment on our videos, like our videos, join the conversation. And since you're here in the live stream, tell us what you think of these matches tonight on Saturday night's main event. What do you think of Chelsea Green being the first ever Women's United States champion and how she did it tonight at Saturday night's main event?
Yeah. Let's keep it rolling here. Anything else you want to talk about with Michin and Chelsea Green?
No, not really. Other than I think it was a good match. We were expecting, based on the draw of the brackets, Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley. But I think they gave us a neat wrinkle here with Chelsea Green becoming just an insufferable title holder.
Yeah. For my money, this is match of the night. And also,
wow, all right.
Yeah, and to add to that, Chelsea Green has been really great as a character, and Michin has been so good in the ring.
Yeah.
She is getting our Ricochet Memorial Award. That's what has been rumored, and this goes right into that Ricochet Memorial Award, where she was helped Chelsea steal the show.
Yep.
So okay, cool. We have a couple other matches. Do you want to pick one yourself here, Dom?
Yeah, speaking of people who are all in on their character and who may have gotten a broken nose tonight, Liv Morgan beats Iyo Skye in 9 minutes to retain the Women's World Championship. They wound up showing this on the replay. Iyo Skye does a running knee to Liv Morgan and really catches her flush in the face. These two look like they hadn't done a lot of wrestling, a lot of time in the ring with each other to build chemistry. And maybe that was just, being slightly off on a good looking move. It looked like Liv really got a broken nose there. A little blood coming out there towards the end. Looked like it was a little swollen. We'll see what this looks like when she gets back to Raw in a couple of days. But a neat match. 9 minutes. So the women got the shortest matches of the night. But this was pretty good. I wasn't a great match. Could have been better, I think, if they had more time with each other before this match. Like if this had been the build up, the blow off of a feud, it would have been great because both wrestlers individually are very talented as in-ring performers. They just looked a little bit off here and there. They had Iyo do something where she slips on the top rope. I don't know if it was a botch or intentional, but allowed Liv to hit a code breaker for 2. A little later, Iyo goes for a top turn moonsault. This is the finishing sequence. Liv gets the feet up and then hits Oblivion for the pinfall. And Iyo looked like she was a little bit unsure of how to take an Oblivion because it's a weird move. It's a weird move coming off the ropes. So I wonder if they were just a little bit off on their timing. Both excellent performers, though. The crowd seemed to enjoy it. Liv Morgan probably got, color the hard way in this one, and a hard-fought victory. Post-match, Rhea Ripley comes out, and they have a stare-down, which is a little weak because they've been constantly fighting each other for months since Rhea Ripley's been back. And so, like, at the end of Saturday Night's main event, Rhea Ripley walks out, and they just look at each other from a foot away. Like, that doesn't seem... That doesn't seem believable based on what's been happening in their feud so far.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
John,
like
what do you
love
think
feud.
of this match, including the little not so shenanigans at the end of it? What say you?
Well, Dom, I was editing the Logan Paul video, so look out for that on Monday. And I completely missed this one. That's why I stepped away.
Oh no! Great sequence where, John, you've mentioned how the women perhaps they don't have the edge in strength over the men, but perhaps they have the edge in flexibility and range of motion.
Yes,
we've seen the 3 amigos before. The 3 suplexes where the guy holds on. Iyo did that with German suplexes, though, continually rolling through while keeping the waist lock on Liv.
Beautiful.
Yes. 3 German suplexes, holding the waist lock each time. Looked really good. Got a 2 count out of it. Liv Morgan, I did like that. Whether this was a botch or not, when Iyo slipped on the top rope, maybe it was an intentional slip or whatever, Liv brought it right into a code breaker. And then when she got the 2 count, she's like slapping herself in the face to wake herself up. You could see, I think that came after the knee to the face that broke her nose. Liv playing into the crazy heel character. I liked it. And there wasn't a lot of outside interference in this one. Raquel Rodriguez was there at ringside. Dominic Mysterio was there too. They walked out with Liv and then walked back up the ramp with her as well. Good match. I hope this is not the end of Iyo Skye in the top of the title picture.
Yes.
Especially now that there's going to be a 2nd-tier belt on Raw as well. They're in the middle of a tournament to crown a women's intercontinental champion.
Oh, really?
Yes. So there's going to be a 2nd-tier belt for the women on both brands. So I think someone, oh no, we're getting a thumbs down. Uh-oh, it's not the thumb drive yet. Oh, oh no.
There's nothing that is a bigger pet peeve of me than in pro wrestling than when there are too many belts.
Too many belts. Yeah.
I thought the U.S. champion, I was like, okay, yeah, there can definitely be a U.S. champ. And then you have two that the women's SmackDown,
2 world
women's,
titles. Yep.
2 world titles, and you had the second, secondary belt.
Yep.
That people could fight over. But if you have Intercontinental 4 belts, my God.
They must be planning to give the women a little bit more TV time, and I think they probably think they've built up enough stars where they can have a believable feuds over the B level belt rather than the A level belt. So, Iyo Skye maybe in the hunt for some of those. She seems over as a baby face, which I think is good. I'm so glad that she's gotten the chance as a singles wrestler and gotten the push and done well with it. I was reading earlier that Bianca Belair was also saying that she and Iyo have developed a lot of great chemistry together in the ring. And that was really Io's coming out party in Puerto Rico 2 years ago when we talked about what a great match that was, and a strange match because the Puerto Rico crowd was cheering for Iyo and booing Bianca. And it like led to a lot of things, like Bianca taking some time off and then eventually taking some time off with her knee injury and coming back fresh. And then Iyo being groomed for a singles push. And I think it's great when wrestlers are willing to, do these shoot interviews and talk about the great things that other wrestlers are doing. Because we can see some of that and we can speculate a little bit on it. But it's good every now and then to hear.
Don't bury the lead. We've been huge Iyo Skye people because after that Puerto Rico match, you had mentioned before that she was good, and I didn't really see it. But then we saw the Puerto Rico match, and I was like, wow, she's great with Bianca.
Yep.
And ever since then, her trajectory has been up and up and up. She had the title. She had a good bout tonight, according to you, with Liv.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, and okay, where do you want to head to next?
We've got 2 men's matches left, each featuring one of our favorite people that we don't see enough on SmackDown anymore. One match has Gunter, one match has Sami Zayne. Your call, my friend.
I have more to say about the Gunter match.
Let's go there. World Heavyweight Championship triple threat. Gunter versus Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Gunter wins at the 11-minute mark, power bombing Damian Priest onto the ring steps, then getting back into the ring, drop kicking and power bombing Finn Balor for the pinfall. What say you about this one? I don't have a ton of notes about this one because it was a triple threat and it was fast moving, and I just didn't have a lot to write. You take it then. If you have a lot to say, go for it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily in-ring stuff as much as extracurriculars outside of the ring. So I love Gunter coming in when he does his entrance because of the way the arena is set up, or I should say the runway is set up. Instead of it being wide and long and huge, like very wide, it's super tight. So the fans can touch the wrestlers as they go by, and Gunter raises his hands right away, and it's like, "Don't touch me," kind of thing.
He doesn't want to slap high five with anybody. Like, I am a heel. I don't care if you like me.
Raises his hands, puts his head behind his head like this, and then starts to go through. And one person did put their hand out, and he went like this, and kind of like swatted them off. And it was like, all right, he's kind of getting into it with the fans. Like, yo, don't. One of them went over to touch him, and he just kind of hit him away. I was like, all right, it's pretty wild. That's some great heel stuff. So it looked like almost it. It was so believable from my perspective because he kind of like smacked at one of the fans that it was something that was legitimately agitating him. So I liked it because it felt like a little bit real. So I know it probably was part of a gimmick, but it's always good to like get so close to real life there where you're like, oh, what is he doing? He's hitting at the fans. The other stuff is chops from Gunter were killer. We don't see Gunter a lot, so I always forget about the chops, and then he lands one, and you go, whoa. And then Gunter was cheered the whole time. There was a part when he kind of played to the crowd. He said something to the crowd, and they just started cheering him. So, again, Long Island, New York, heels, Maybe they're cheering the heels this night.
He's got to get better at knowing what to say to the crowd to antagonize them, not to get a baby face pop.
Tell them the Islanders suck or something.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, yes.
Islanders, yeah, the cheap heat. Come on now.
So I did like that. Even though there was supposed to be extra bad blood between Finn Balor and Damian Priest, that didn't dominate the match. I mean, all three guys had good heat with each other, and I thought it was a pretty good triple threat match. Nothing really tonight was like total pay-per-view main event quality.
Yeah.
But for a 2-hour primetime broadcast television show, if this were a SmackDown, it would have been a great SmackDown.
Certainly.
Or a Raw, it would have been a great Raw. I do like the Boston Crab. You mentioned the chops. Gunter puts Damian Priest into a Boston Crab. Finn rolls back into the ring and tries to break it up by chopping Gunter, who just breaks the hold, stands up, and glares at Finn Balor like he no-sells the chop, and then starts delivering some of his own.
Right.
Damian Priest, how about this one? He does the rope walk while holding Gunter in sort of a wrist lock there, hand to hand, and does the crossbody onto Gunter, then pivots right off and hits a side slam on Finn Balor for a 2 count.
Shades of Undertaker with that move.
Shades of Undertaker, and then the side slam, where he does the sit out Uranagi there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. That was pretty cool. Another one with all three guys. Damian powerbombed Gunter off of the second turnbuckle as Gunter was fighting with Finn Balor up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Finn sees it, so he does the top turnbuckle double stomp onto Gunter and covers, but Damian Priest barely breaks up the pinfall at 2.5. Great timing by all three guys in that extended sequence there. So good. That's what I'm looking for in a triple threat match. Like, are there moves where it matters that there are three guys in the ring active at all time? And how is their timing and ring positioning? And are they working together well? Like all three parts working in unison. And that was one of them. So I like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Just seeing Gunter is always such a pleasure.
It is.
Anything else you want to talk about with this one?
Not really from this match, although I do think that they're setting up more from Damian and Finn Balor with each other, and it's going to not involve a belt, obviously, because Gunter retains here. So more things to look forward to with the crumbling of former Judgment Day and still Judgment Day in Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and Gunter can move on to whatever his next challenge is for the belt.
Right.
Sami Zayne, Drew McIntyre, are you ready?
Yep.
A match featuring two guys who have each suffered freak gashes to the tops of their heads during matches this year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Ugh.
Sami Zayne took that one in Canada when the table broke and in the corner, and part of it smacked him square in the back of the head. Right across the top there. Almost exactly where Drew McIntyre needed his stitches from. We have edited video clips that you put together on our channel on each of those things. Go search for each of them. But yes.
Yeah, the one video is CM Punk with the toolbox, for heaven's sakes, this toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
He Drew McIntyre eats it from CM Punk and he's busted open. That was the video I edited and put together for a breakdown. But then the other video was all you. That was the Sami Zayne video.
From a house show, yes.
From a house show when Sami Zayne got hit with
part of the table. He tossed, I think it may have been Finn Balor.
Yeah.
A table was set up in the corner. Finn breaks the table as he goes hurtling into it. But the top part of the table that snapped ricochets off the turnbuckles and off the ropes and smacks Sami Zayne right on top of the head. He wound up bleeding. Sami Zayne apparently either did not know he was bleeding or didn't care, and he's celebrating with the Canadian crowd afterwards. And it's like, dude, go to the back. You need medical attention. So this was the massive head wound Harry memorial match between Sami Zayne and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins it in about 10 minutes He rolls to the floor to avoid a haluva kick. Sami follows him out to the floor. Drew McIntyre immediately into the ring like he had set him up. Sami follows him. Drew with a quick Claymore, and then the pinfall in just about 10 minutes there. Pretty neat match. What say you about it? We like Sami, and we think that Drew McIntyre is doing some of the best work of his career. What do you have for this match? This one led the show, by the way. First match of the night.
Yeah. This was a good one. I liked the crowd chanting Sami Uso.
Sami Uso.
That's back, and that's such a great chant, man.
Mhm.
So it's good to see him have some heat. And I'm glad that Drew gets a win after having to lose to CM Punk. So that just angles him in the right direction. I wonder what they're going to do with Drew now that he's back.
Revenge tour. He said it. Revenge on all of the people from the original bloodline who he thinks turned on him. Or like, why would you go back with Roman Reigns? He's mentioned wanting to go after the Usos. SmackDown the night before this, Jimmy Uso is in the ring with his crutches. Drew comes out of the crowd with the hoodie on and just Claymore kicks him. So I think Drew is on a revenge tour to make his way through the bloodline. What if he goes after Solo? Because they mentioned it even tonight that Solo Sikoa was the one specifically who cost Drew the world title at Clash at the Castle 2022. It was Solo Sikoa's debut.
Oh, yeah.
So why is he suddenly going after everybody who's also going after Solo Sikoa? I don't know, but if the angle is Drew is making his way on a revenge tour through the bloodline, then yeah, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, eventually maybe he gets his hands on Roman Reigns again. I don't know. But it looks like they have something for Drew to do that does not involve CM Punk.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder, what did Bloodline do? How long? It must have been like 2 years ago or something like that. This is all going on.
Sami joined the Bloodline in early 2022. We started watching September 30th, 2022, right after Clash at the Castle would have taken place second half of the summer.
Okay. So before
that was where Gunter and Sheamus had a great match for the IC title. Gunter retained. Gunter had the belt only a month or two by that point. And so Sheamus, they thought, was a big challenge for him, especially over in the UK. Gunter won that. That was one big match from that show. And also, I think that was when Drew McIntyre was trying to regain the Universal Undisputed WWE Championship. And it was the debut of Solo Sikoa interfering to cost Drew the match.
Well, Dom, I'll tell you what. I don't have the ability to drive to the UK, but
we don't have aqua-fitted cars. Transverse the Atlantic Ocean. But we can do another kind of drive, can't we?
That's right. It's a thumb drive.
Oh, it's the thumb drive where you and I are going to use our thumbs here to rate this show. It's going to be a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no letter grades, no number grades. You are taking this course pass, fail, and if you saw Cheap Heat from before Saturday night's main event, you know we were talking about pro wrestling and college courses. This course is pass, fail tonight for Don't Bury the Lead.
That's right, Tom. And ready. I should say this before we start here. We're not Dave Meltzer. We don't give out star ratings. No. We don't do 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. We don't do 2 stars in the Core State Center. We don't do 9 stars in Hiroshima, Japan. No. We do thumbs up or a thumbs down, and that's all we do. It's the thumbs. So are you ready, Dom?
I am ready, my friend.
3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Oh, thumbs up, Dom.
I remember some old Saturday night's main events from the late 80s, maybe even early 90s. They were fun shows. They were also special shows because WWE didn't put prime time on broadcast television. This was pre the cable wars, pre-Raw, pre-Monday Night War, pre-Attitude Era, all that stuff. So it was a special show back then. I thought this was fun. I mean, Jesse the Body Ventura being back was a little weird at first because he was trying to get back into his old heel announcer gimmick, and it was falling flat early. I think he had regained his footing by the time they put him as third man in the booth for the main event. So there was a little nostalgia there. They were showing other wrestlers in the crowd in the front row throughout the night. Greg the Hammer Valentine and Coco Beware were some great ones.
That was cool
they were trying to do a little bit of nostalgia, recapture what these shows were like 30 to 40 years ago when they were running on primetime TV. I thought this was a fun show. It's not a premium live event. If you were expecting that and got disappointed by just getting 10-minute Raw and SmackDown matches, then I'm sorry on WWE's behalf if they played it up to where you thought this was going to be a premium live event. It's not. It's just a really special Raw or SmackDown on broadcast TV without a lot of backstage angle stuff. It's just extra matches, extra intros. It's a show.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of shows, which cat is that just walked across your screen?
That's Milo saying hello to the crowd here.
Milo, how you doing, Milo? There we go. This fantastic timing there by Milo. I love it.
Milo liked the show too. He just wanted to come out here and emphasize that.
There you go. One tail up from Milo. That's 3 appendages up from our crew tonight. Excellent. Why did you give this show an appendage up, John?
5 good matches. 5 matches that were solid. All within 2 hours. This would be a perfect SmackDown, if we were going to judge one. It was just a little bit better than a SmackDown, a little bit below under that pay-per-view level.
Mm-hmm.
We did see a title get won, which is great. I thought the women's match, Michin versus Chelsea Green, was good. It wasn't perfect, let's just say. My only critique might be, hey, can we do 4 matches instead of 5 so we're not rushing every match and we have some more substantial time out there that they can develop some stuff like a pay-per-view match. But I love the setup. I thought Jesse the Body Ventura, once he was behind the booth, was good. Yep. I liked to see the comparison in the styles between Jesse the Body Ventura and Michael Cole, who need to know exactly what each move is and like what it's called and the technical term, where he's like, that's a big slam there. He didn't even try to say what it was. He got him, and that's a big slam. And Jesse's got such great pipes that it was, that was he could pull that off.
He's got heel pipes. He's got that kind of baritone growl.
Yeah, but anyway,
he's got heel pipes.
To put a button on this one here, a ribbon on this one here, a button. Put a ribbon on this one here. I thought it was a really good Saturday night 2-hour show. I would definitely watch another one again. So thumbs up from me.
Yeah, whenever they're going to do this again, this is a fun break. Like you said, it's not quite a pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Perhaps they could cut down the entrances next time, because when this match started and we got 10 minutes of like pregame, and then it moved to finally the first match got off the air at 11 minutes and 38 seconds after the hour. I'm like, my goodness, these matches are all going to be 10 minutes. Yeah. They're going to do 10 minutes of intros, 10 minutes of match. And because they're going to have to run commercials. It's broadcast TV.
Right. At least
that's kind of what we got. We got 10 minutes of intros and 10 minutes of match all the time,
Yeah. The intros, right. They could cut down on the intros but even if they have to keep the intros in, and maybe they keep the intros in because they know it's a casual fans. So they're probably, what's the music? What, everything. They want the casual fan. If there's more casual fans, and I'm just trying to think of the demo, like who's flipping through the TV on a Saturday night, and stops at NBC. I guess like people that still have cable, that's the demo they're going after. So they probably don't really watch it a lot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you wonder who, and then somebody's flipping through their channels and they just happen to see why is this woman wearing clothes that have her face all over them?
Right? Yeah.
I have to stay and watch this, whatever it is. So there.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green stole the show, right?
She was watching the Hallmark Channel, watching Christmas movies. One ended. This person, this theoretical person,
Yes.
they flick down. They go to see like if the news is on, and it's like, oh, what is this? And then they click into wrestling and they watch it.
Sure, and this is great. The visual spectacles were there, big intros, all that kind of stuff. Fun match, but I tell you what, it'll be great to get back to doing SmackDowns this coming week. Which again, because of me not being able to watch live on Friday nights, I have to watch next day. Now that they're on USA, we do recap SmackDown on Saturday nights, which, at least we're consistent. So when we get a pay-per-view or a Saturday night's main event, our schedule here at Don't Bury the Lead. Check in with us Saturday nights and see what we're doing.
We're a Saturday show now. It's also easier for me, Dom, to do the Saturday show. So I think it's a win-win, really.
Win-win all around. So very good stuff. They're promoting the heck out of the Raw debut on Netflix.
Are you watching it?
I don't know. They're also promoting the heck out of this transfer window for wrestlers who can jump to different shows, because like everybody from SmackDown is going to Raw, I think.
Oh.
The whole bloodline's going to Raw. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are fighting over the Ulafala on the premiere of Raw on Netflix. They've already announced that.
When does we're the Italian goodbye now, if you couldn't tell.
Sure. Oh, yes.
When does SmackDown go to 3 hours?
That's a good question. It might be near the first of the year as well. I guess we'll find out by surprise when I tune in the next day to it and go, this is much longer than it used to be.
I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but I wanted to bring up one thing to you.
Sure.
Pat McAfee.
Okay.
In all of his dumb, immature, childish glory, was down there with Michael Cole. And he's like, yeah, Michael Cole, I'm sitting right here with the GOAT, greatest of all time, Michael Cole. Is Michael Cole the greatest of all time in the wrestling business as an announcer?
As a play-by-play guy, I don't think anybody has his longevity with one company. We've talked about how it must have been tough all those years with Vince McMahon screaming in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Like during the live broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Just screaming at you to say things. I think as a straight play-by-play guy, he's very good. I don't know if he's the best, but I think there are a few people who've had his career. I mean, maybe Gordon Soley way back, but Gordon didn't have this kind of a TV audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael Cole is known maybe by more wrestling fans than anyone else, just because he's been behind the mic for the number one promotion during its heyday.
Yeah.
Like its revival onto, broadcast TV and putting out television. Like the WWF had a heyday in the 70s and 80s, but it wasn't a television product back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a television product. And as a television product, I think Michael Cole may be the most recognizable person in the the television and streaming era of pro wrestling.
In the streaming era, for sure. Like the whole, like Peacock and all that.
Sure.
I do have to say this. I think Cole's solid. Jim Ross, I know he's not play-by-play, but I think Jim Ross is ahead of...
Used to be a heck of a play-by-play guy.
I guess, he was play-by-play with...
WCW, NWA, yep. And for a while in the WWF, Jerry the King Lawler was color.
Yeah, no, when it was Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross, that was the most watched wrestling ever was. That was the peak. Austin, The Rock.
Yes.
Austin, The Rock.
Shawn Michaels for a while. Triple H. John Cena, the beginning of Cena.
Uh-huh. You were kind of Bret Hart caught a little bit of that, but it was a lot of the DX, the Nation of Domination, um, that whole thing. So the Attitude Era, if you will, bra and panties matches, horrible shit.
Attitude into ruthless aggression. Yeah, that was Jim Ross time, right?
Yeah. So Jim Ross was the guy for that era, and I think Jim Ross would be ahead of Michael Cole, and I'm sure Michael Cole would even agree to that.
Cole learned from Ross, didn't he? Like Cole broke in when Ross was still there, and part of the problem for Michael Cole was people thought he was replacing Jim Ross, and so they hated him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of unfair because like Cole they were doing more television, and Jim Ross needed some time off, so they needed another guy.
Yeah,
who could do play-by-play, and Michael Cole was he's a good radio play-by-play guy, TV play-by-play guy.
They eventually had to eventually when they fired JR, then he was really not liked, Michael Cole. Because it was
then it became like, oh, it's because of him. Like he became the scapegoat.
He's the scapegoat because he was the next guy up, you know. So
Jack Nicklaus, the great golfer, got booed early on because he showed up as this young hotshot and beat everybody's hero, Arnold Palmer. And so, everybody was mad that, who's this pudgy young whippersnapper beating the king? And then, a few years later, people love Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah. Another guy I like is, and he probably is in a lesser era, or debatably, I don't know, Gorilla Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon did play-by-play a lot with Jesse Ventura on color or with Bobby Heenan on color.
With Bobby Heenan, it was incredible.
Yep. Gorilla Monsoon really brought into that whole use it like a very technical term for whatever's happening.
Yeah.
Like, the clavicle, like this bone up here, like someone would chop him on the shoulder. Oh God, I'm on the clavicle. You'd chop a guy across the chest. Oh, right in the sternum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff was great. And then him and Bobby the Brain Heenan were like perfect, right? And
because they bickered like an old married couple.
They would bicker, and you don't really see the bickering that much these days anymore. But that was something like they did the bickering. JR and King would bicker.
Yes, a little.
Yeah.
But nobody, you're right, nobody was as good as Monsoon and Heenan.
Yeah.
Mostly because Heenan was such a good bickerer as a heel. And all Monsoon had to do was basically be the straight guy and be like, will you stop?
Yeah, will you stop it? It's the best line. He's got one of the best. That's like one of the best lines in WWE's announcing history.
Yeah, just Gorilla Monsoon getting exasperated at Bobby the Brain Heenan. That was it.
I've seen a T-shirt and it's Gorilla Monsoon. It says, "Will you stop?"
That's it. That was his catchphrase because Bobby the Brain Heenan would get under his skin so much.
Even I'll listen to Cornette sometimes, and Brian Last is on there, and so he'll say, "Oh, will you stop it?" when Cornette's going like way off.
All right, little callback there.
Yeah. I'll be right back if you want to talk about you guys still have the parade there, or is it cleaned up?
The parade is done finally. I live in a small borough here in a smallish borough in southern New Jersey. My apartment building is right on the main road in town. It's a state route that goes right through the middle of town. My apartment building is very old, so it was built back when you were allowed to put structures close to the road. Nowadays, all structures have to be back from the road with a parking lot or a yard or whatever. My apartment house is 12 feet from a state highway. And there's very little grass there. It's all like masonry, sidewalk, concrete, brick, whatever. And it's an old house. There's like no insulation. You can hear stuff happening outside. As we were doing Cheap Heat tonight before Saturday night's main event, the Christmas parade in town is tonight. The fire trucks, the noise, the sirens, the music, they're passing right by my apartment house. I'm on the first floor. I can't get away from it. My apartment is on that side of the building. And, I'm constantly asking John before we start the Cheap Heat, like, Do you hear like fire truck sirens and everything? He's like, no. He's like, what? A little bit now, not anymore. It's like, okay, that's going to happen a lot the whole time we're doing Cheap Heat. But the parade has ended. It ended probably near 8:00. Just as we were finishing up Cheap Heat there. By the way, wherever you're watching us now on the live stream, head over to Don't Bury the Lead on YouTube. Find our Cheap Heat segment. It ran like 15 to 20 minutes earlier today. It was us doing Cheap Heat. That's news from WWE, AEW, and beyond. Just news items from the week, fun stuff. Viewers seem to really like it. If you're wondering why it's not here in the recap, it's because we decided to do it as a preview of Saturday night's main event, especially since a couple of the Cheap Heat items had to do with Saturday night's main event. There was one there on Tiffany Stratton and one there on Bayley, who we thought, the way the brackets worked out and were laid out, were going to be the finals tonight for the Women's U.S. Championship. Instead, it was Michin and Chelsea Green. And if you thought that was a letdown match, John says that was match of the night. So we got a surprise match there as far as the competitors, and they performed well.
Yeah.
So no complaints, people.
No complaints. I do have one thing to say. That
Yes.
Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes was almost disappointing because they've wrestled so many times.
Okay.
And and it's almost like they keep wrestling, Kevin keeps losing, and it's just like, okay, now what with Cody? I don't know. I'm a little bit like, now what?
Okay. It's been a long building feud. They wrestled on the same team for a while in a 6-man tag. They did have one one-on-one match for the title.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens had a program with Randy Orton cut short by design. So I wonder what they're going to do with Randy Orton when he comes back. He should have a big.
I think Orton and Owens will feud. That makes sense. But I wonder what's next for Cody. Like, who's going to win this belt? There doesn't seem like there's a lot of guys left.
It almost seems like they're in a holding pattern waiting for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania again for the rematch. Like, we're going to have this 3 years in a row.
Yeah, but Reigns is a face.
And that's the problem. That's why I'd like to see them really put Cody into a program where he can be a star again. It almost seems like they're downgrading this belt. Like, he's got the universal, undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
He's got the big belt.
He's got the big belt, and they've managed to not have him on a big pay-per-view. Have him on SmackDowns where he's not the lead of the show anymore, where he's not the top story on the show anymore. On one hand, it's great to know that they have feuds and interesting angles that don't require a belt, which is basically Bloodline versus Bloodline. But on the other hand, it makes you wonder if the Cody Rhodes title reign is lacking a little bit. I'm with you there. You wonder what they're. It's definitely different from when Roman had the belt. Is it different good, different bad, or different neutral? Just like in its own way, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, man, who's gonna beat Cody for the title? If Drew McIntyre wins the feud with CM Punk, Drew could win it. And he's a heel. He's a heel's heel for real right now. Yep. And that would give him. He won it in the pandemic, which is a shame because you get the pandemic run, which is horrible. So
he never got the cheers at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I wonder what they're doing, or are they going to just do the Roman Reigns thing where he has it for like 2 years?
Well, but Roman Reigns, they managed to keep that interesting with stuff other than title matches. The Bloodline was great.
Yeah, it was all
especially
Bloodline
when Sami Zayne got in there. And then they did give him pretty good opponents, although I will say it got stale after a while because it was the same match. Ref bump, Roman gets pinned, no ref to count. Bloodline interferes, Roman gets a tainted victory.
They love that in WWE. No ref to count. That's a classic for them.
And we got the call back to it tonight with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantasy book it. Who's going to be? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. Fantasy book it for us. Who's the next formidable opponent for Cody Rhodes where you think, okay, they might switch the belt?
Yeah. Let us know in the chat and the comments. We've had some people here. Check out our channel, subscribe. It's really helpful. We are targeting 1,000. We're a little bit above 930 right now, so we need 70 more subscribers, and we'll be at 1,000. So if you're watching this later or you're watching this now, go ahead and subscribe. It would be very helpful. We could fantasy book. Let us know what you think. Is it CM Punk? Would they trust him with it, or is he too injured?
Well, we're going to have a lot of new stars switching brands around the beginning of the new year, so maybe that'll shake out with some of the rosters. Braun Strowman is back on SmackDown. He beat the crap out of Carmelo Hayes last night. Poor Carmelo Hayes, number one draft pick. Yes, poor Carmelo Hayes, number one draft pick, getting jobbed out to Braun Strowman, who hasn't wrestled in months because he was hurt.
They couldn't find somebody else for that. That's a shame.
Yeah,
because he had good matches with LA Knight. He was pushing for the U.S. title.
Had good matches with LA Knight, with Andrade. I thought it would have been great if he would have beaten Braun Strowman, feather in the cap for the small guy, using his quickness and his wits to, beat the big monster, the monster of all monsters. But instead, no, Braun Strowman came out and ran around and power slammed him.
Braun Strowman won a Universal title, too.
He was former Universal champ, yeah. 6'8", 380 pounds. Football offensive lineman. There he is.
All right, Dom. I am running out of gas.
There we go. It's a little after 11, almost 11:30 here on the East Coast of the U.S. where we are located. So it's been a good show. I'm glad we did Cheap Heat before Saturday night's main event. If you're looking for Cheap Heat, go to our channel. Don't bury the lead, a wrestling channel on YouTube. Find our live stream. It was 18 minutes from earlier tonight. Find that in the live tab there, or maybe even swapped out as a separate segment there. The Logan Paul video will be out Monday morning.
That's right.
Search all the Cheap Heat there. Tell us what you think of it. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 1,000.
We are well on our way to 1,000. Come join us, folks.
Yep.
Come join us. All right, Dom. Thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Thanks for quiet chatters, or that's fine. If you just want to watch, that's cool.
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it, everyone. And have a great rest of your evening.